What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS Wise stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I, of course, am from the Wise Take Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed above or directly at wisetake.com. If you're looking to improve your DFS game, if you are looking to learn how to be a better DFS player, come check us out. Promo code at the top also, MLB20, get 20% off any package. Don't forget to participate in our $50 giveaway, which we are doing a drawing of on Saturday. We were doing a separate stream to kind of draw. May do some football Q&A depending on the turnout we get on the show. But $50, we're giving it away to someone. We're going to put everybody's name into this online wheel. It spins, select someone, and that person gets $50. And all you have to do to participate is follow us on Twitter at @wise_take. Find the tweet that's pinned. You'll see it promoting our Week 4 DFS First Look. Like the tweet, retweet the tweet, follow us on Twitter at @wise_take, and that is all you got to do to put your name into the proverbial hat, if you will, and get your chance to win a free $50. So I think it's a pretty easy ask, right? If you don't have Twitter, I had some people ask about the giveaways. What if you don't have Twitter and you want to participate? We're going to have other giveaways, so don't worry. Right now we're using the Twitter one, but we will have YouTube promotions where we do that. We do giveaways specifically on YouTube contests and also various platforms. So make sure you're following us on whatever platform it is you have so you don't miss out when we decide to do a giveaway on the platform that you use. Yeah. With that said, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please hit the hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well with the notifications bell turned on so you don't miss out whenever we do go live. We do a bunch of DFS content. We're going to be grinding out the MLB playoffs here as long as there's 4-game slates or higher. So we won't do anything on Saturday or Sunday, although at the site at wisetake.com we will still provide content Monday through 7 days a week. Sunday will be projections, stack rankings, cheat sheets, whereas Monday through Saturday I will do an article if the slate is, like I said, 4 games or bigger also. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. And at the very least, man, don't miss out the free shit we put out like these streams. We're going to go pitcher by pitcher as we always do. We don't have an official, just full disclosure, we don't have an official announcement for the White Sox and Oakland pitching. So Dooning and Fires are the expected across the industry. I think we're all expecting them, but we don't know for sure. They haven't been officially announced as the pitchers. So be on the lookout for that. And hopefully we get that information shortly so we can process that information and do dirties. But I'm going to go as if it is those two. And if there's a change, obviously, then, things are different. But we're going to go as if that is the case. Starting with Davies, the top option on the slate by far. 2.82 xFIP, tied with Luis Castillo for the lowest on the slate. 31.3% K rate. He's got the second lowest whip on the slate outside of Kershaw at 0.96. Also, when it comes to the actual lineups, and it is important, if you look at Miami's lineup, they've got 3 lefties out there, so it's a pretty right-handed heavy lineup. And if you look at Darvish's splits, lefty-righty, he is just a lot more dominant against righties. His strikeout to walk ratio versus righties, 11.25, just absurd. Almost a 40% K rate to right-handed hitters. So, yeah, I think this lineup bodes well. We've got cool temps, like 54 degrees. We've got neutral winds. They're blowing, but they're blowing left to right, so nothing real crazy. And it's just hard. I mean, I guess the one argument you can make with Davies is he has had a tendency to get nervous in big situations. This is the opening round of the playoffs, but it is a must-win for the Cubs. They lost yesterday to the Marlins, so I I expect Darvish's A game. I'm not really worried about that too much. He'll be the pitcher I have the highest exposure to. I expect him to be the most popular pitcher on the slate, but for good reason. So hard to make an argument against you, Darvish, other than ownership. And if that's the case, if you want to have some Miami mini stacks or one-offs to capitalize on that, it's not the worst idea. But for the most part, as far as exposures go, I got 170 teams. I'm going to have at least 50 to 60% of you, Darvish, the you god. Clayton Kershaw, viable pivot. I think in cash games on this slate, I would probably try to play them both. Although I don't mind coming down to Luis Castillo. There's just a lot more risk. Milwaukee's offense was better against lefties, but they still weren't very good. While the Braves are one of the top offenses in the league. So I would probably try to find the money for Kershaw as an SP2 in cash games. In tournaments, I think Kershaw would be the second highest owned pitcher anyway. But you could also use him as a potential pivot off of Darvish for $300. I still feel more comfortable with Darvish. But for ownership's sake, just because he's the later game, I could see that being a thing. Kershaw's been awesome. We know he's got a history of kind of choking in the playoffs, but Milwaukee looks pretty bad. I mean, they scored a couple runs off Buehler last night, but they were striking out a ton. They were striking out more against lefties as the season progressed, and we know they were second in the league in strikeouts to righties. So I do like Kershaw a little bit. I'm looking at around 30% or so, I think. Not nearly as much as I'll have Darvish. I think Luis Castillo is in a pretty interesting spot, a boomer busty type spot. I think the Braves offense I do want to have exposure to because they're so good. And while Luis Castillo has a slate high 58.4% ground ball rate, the Braves are extreme fly ball hitters as a team. So that worries me a little bit. The split should favor Castillo. The Braves only have 3 lefties. 2 of those are really good in Freddie Freeman and Ozzie Albies, but they are mostly right-handed. You can see Luis Castillo also a 5% walk rate to righties versus 11% to lefties, a 34.5% strikeout rate to righties opposed to 26.8% to lefties. So I like the spot for Castillo as well. I think that on top of that, this game, if you remember, went to extra innings last night. So these guys did use more bullpen, I think, than they wanted to. The game kind of went on and on. And remember, like the extra innings this year have been just, I think, 10 innings. So was an interesting situation. But I do like Castillo at this price, $8,600 on DraftKings. At 10-2, I think his ownership would be lower on FanDuel, which makes him really interesting over there. So Castillo, I expect to be somewhat popular, right, or owned at least on DraftKings. On FanDuel, though, between Darvish, Kershaw, and then the guys under him, I think we could see his ownership slip a little bit. I do like him. But again, 170 teams, I'm going to have, like, say, 30-40% Castillo. I will have, like, at least 10% Brave stacks. 5 full stacks. 5 on DraftKings, 4 on FanDuel. Zach Davies having a really good season. A lot of those Padre pitchers are. 4.14 xFIP, not really on the league as these other guys when you consider xFIP. But he is playing St. Louis, who struggled offensively this year. They did kind of get the paddock early last night, which is something to consider, especially because Davies does have a low BABIP. It's like a 249, which is usually an indicator that he's gotten by on luck. Davies continues to have reverse splits, a 222 WOBA to lefties, a 317 to righties. Not to say he's been bad by any stretch, and you can see his hard contact rate over the last 30 days has been really low at 24.7. My issue with Davies is strikeouts. St. Louis is not a huge strikeout team, and he's not a big strikeout pitcher. You can see 22.8 on the season, 10% swinging strike rate. So it's not terrible. He's going to see some lefties. St. Louis does have some lefties. You can see the strikeout rate's pretty drastic, lefty to righty. Let me highlight them for you guys right quick. 16.5% strikeout rate to lefties, 28.2% to righties. So I actually have some interest in the St. Louis offense. I should have started the show with this. Real quick, going back to the Cubs game, there is a chance of rain. DFS meteorologist Kevin Roth seems to think that it's not that big a deal, and if it does come, it's going to come late. So I'm still cool with you got. But the West Coast is hot as hell right now, and it's not. I'm not trying to be funny. It just is. This game is in San Diego, and there's like almost 100-degree temps. Oakland, it's going to be hot. LA, it's going to be hot. So I do like the hitting environments. You take any edge you can get in the postseason with a lot of good pitchers going. So I do like the St. Louis offense. I will have more of them than I will of Davies, that's for sure. Because regardless, there's just other pitchers I think that have more upside than Davies. Adam Wainwright in the same category. Not going to have a ton of him either against the Padres, who finished as one of the top offenses in the league against righties. Now, Wainwright's been solid. Don't get me wrong. He's got very similar numbers to Davies. He's been a little bit more splits neutral. But he's been solid. His hard contact rate, however, has trended up over the last 30 days. You can see on the season it's 29.8. It's currently 33.9 over the last 30 days, which is roughly, 4 starts or so, 3 to 4 starts. So I lean towards the Padres offense here also. Wainwright has done a good job of going deep into games. You can see he's averaging 6.5 innings per game. So on FanDuel, that's something to keep in mind, 8,300 if you're looking for the quality start. But again, I lean towards the offenses in this game. Ian Anderson, I'll have exposure to on DraftKings at 7,500. The kid looks good. He looks really good. Ironically, he's got a much higher strikeout rate to lefties. And the Reds are throwing him a bunch of lefties. We've got, Shogo, we got Votto, Moustakas, Winker, Galvis, Barnhart. So I think the matchup kind of fits right into Ian Anderson, who I will have some exposure to. And you can see the reverse splits carry over also to his WOBAs. 201 WOBA to lefties, 269 to righties. Good either way. Look at his hard contact rate, 25.9%. Over the last 30 days, 23.5%. So he's been pretty solid also. He's another one that on FanDuel, like I said about Castillo, the ownership on him is going to be minimal because you have to get by Darvish and Kershaw and Castillo to get to him. So I do think that people, even Woodruff, so I think people may drop even lower or stick with the guys up top. I think he's an interesting play on FanDuel. It's just what's in question is he's a rookie. So is the team going to trust him to go those 6 innings? And if he's efficient, sure, I don't see why not. Same situation as Castillo. These guys had to use some bullpen last night. But just something to keep in mind. I do like the spot for Anderson. 0.72% home run percentage. He's only had like 5 or 6 starts, so I'm not trying to make that into a thing, but I do like it. Brandon Woodruff is actually a guy I'm not going to have a ton of exposure to against the Dodgers. The postseason Dodgers, man, they're just swinging the bats too well. I think Woodruff is great. 7,400 price tag on DraftKings is very tempting because of how good he is, how much upside he has. I'm going to have some. I'm not going to use that word fade. I don't like to use that word too much when knowing I build 170 teams. There's no reason to completely fade someone like him who has a 31% K rate, 13% swinging strike rate, solid xFIP, everything, yada, yada, yada. However, he is someone who's over his career. I know this season he's got a slightly higher WOBA to righties, but over his career, he has had, better numbers to righties and lefties. So I do like the lefties on the Dodgers offense. I think we're going to get them low owned. They're the best offense in baseball, them, the Braves, and some of these other ones. So I guess you can make the same argument about the Braves as you can about the Dodgers. But again, trying to take advantage of the hot temperatures we have out in the West Coast. So I do like the Dodgers offense. I like them more than I like Woodruff. Woodruff has a 3%, over a 3% home run percentage, which is in the same category as the Davies, the Wainwrights, even the Kershaws at 3.62. But so I'll have some exposure to them for sure. Sixto Sanchez is probably my favorite cheap guy at the moment, and on DraftKings it would be Woodruff, except I like the Dodgers. I think Woodruff for the ceiling he has, for the upside he has, is certainly in play. So I'm not telling you guys not to play him. I'm just saying to make sure you have some Dodger exposure as well. Sixto Sanchez, however, is cheap on both sides. Now, this is an interesting situation, right? They're playing the Cubs. The Cubs were actually very strikeout heavy this season against righties in particular. Sixto only has a 20.9% K rate, but his 12.9% swinging strike rate indicates that maybe that number should be higher. And you can see it's not that far off from Woodruff, yet his strikeout rate is almost 11% lower. So I do like the spot for Sixto. 58% ground ball rate is pretty awesome. Hard contact numbers are decent. His xFIP 4.08 is not the prettiest. But again, we've got neutral winds, cool temps, and Wrigley. So I think it plays more pitcher friendly tonight. And the Miami bullpen is terrible. So I think they're going to try to get whatever they can get out of Sixto. We already know he's got massive ceiling. But definitely some risk. Some Cub stacks are not out of the question. By any stretch, so the Cubs offense was pretty atrocious this year overall. But still, you've got Ian Happ, who had a home run yesterday. Schwarber's having a good season. Rizzo. Obviously, Javier Baez is having a down season, but he's always a threat. So he's certainly in play. I think this game in general is just low scoring. So again, Dooning and Fires, we don't know for sure if these are the guys. So we're still waiting to find out. I'll start with Dooning. Again, warm temperatures, warmer than usual in Oakland, and I think the ownership on these bats could be lower because the park is so big. Maybe not on the White Sox. Maybe not on the White Sox offense, but I don't think too many people are playing Oakland today. I wouldn't be surprised if some people did take a shot on Dooning, though without him being announced officially. I wonder what because on FanDuel he's not even listed as a probable. So curious on that. Either way, Duning's had a pretty good rookie season, 11.4% swinging strike rate, 24.6% K rate, but he has shown strong splits to lefties. A 204 WOBA to righties, 332 to lefties. So you kind of see where I'm going here. Now, his hard contact rate looks really healthy. It looks really good. But I do lean towards the Oakland offense because I think they're going to be lower owned. And this guy's a rookie in the postseason, right? And so, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Oakland offense in the situation, particularly the lefties. Guys like Tommy La Stella, Robbie Grossman, Matt Olson. Jake Lamb is now third base eligible on DraftKings, or he's third base on DraftKings, which is great. I'm going to work those guys into my teams, get some exposure there. It is worth noting that both these teams do have really good bullpens. But again, we're expecting pretty warm temperatures, warmer than usual here in Oakland. So I'm looking to take advantage of the heat as we are in October 1st. How about that? Mike Fiers. So Mike Fiers last year dominated the White Sox. I mean, dominated them. It's kind of weird. Let me see. Give me a second. I'll pull up exactly how dominant he was last year. Now, different year, right? Different year, different season. I get all that. And I've made the decision not to pitch Fiers. And again, we don't know for sure that that's the deal. Last year in 2 starts against the White Sox, Fiers went over 7 innings in both, had 8 strikeouts in one, 4 in the other, 23.85 DraftKings points in one, 32 in the other. So there is potential that it happens here, right? The White Sox are improved, but they still strike out a lot, and this is a big park in general. So just wanted to float that out there. With that said, I'm not touching Fiers. I'll be stacking the White Sox as well. Fiers has a 5.73 xFIP, a 1.37 WHIP, a 14% K rate. Just the worst numbers on the slate by far. And I wonder if that's why the White Sox haven't announced if he is the starter. Maybe he's not. But again, these are just what I found kind of scraping the web on who we think may get the starts. We don't know for sure if they are. But if it is these two guys, I lean offenses. That's basically where we're at. And again, you can see Fiers' numbers just completely shit. An 18.2% strikeout rate to lefties, 10.4 to righties. Just not good. 346 WOBA to righties, 318 to lefties. So keep that in mind. He's been a little on the reverse splits end this year. Tim Anderson, I think, is in a really good spot. I'm good with the Moncada Grandal, but the righties like Anderson, Abreu and E5 is always a tough decision. On FanDuel, you can play them both. I would take advantage of that. I do like Luis Robert as a value. He's been falling off, been shitty lately, but we know what he can do. We saw his upside. Eloy Jimenez is questionable, so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens there. But we're still waiting to see who the actual pitchers are. Nobody said anything official yet. Tony A in the chat. Shout out to Tony A. What's happening, bro? And I see a bunch of you with me live this morning. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with me live. But I do need y'all to hit that like button. You got to like it. You got to share. If you want the nation to succeed, you got to help out. You got to do your part. We are a community. We're in this together. So I need those likes to go up. Hit those like button. And help push us, man. Help promote us. Help get the name out there. You got all these other companies out there trying to compete. We've been around here for going on 4 years, maybe even longer than that. And we're just grinding every day. And we're going to continue to grind every day. So all we ask is a little bit of support to keep us rolling, keep us going. And we get that support by having eyes on us and having people aware of what the Wise Take Nation is. Shout out to Tony A. Northwest in the YouTube chat. Northwest winds in Wrigley. That means blowing in. So yeah, I'm with it, man. When I saw him reading it this morning, I was seeing neutral. Either way, neutral in, same difference to me in Wrigley. As long as it's not blowing out, that's all I'm concerned about. At least when you have pitchers who you think are decent. So again, I do like the pitching in that game. I think that means the bats will go lower owned on a 5-game slate, but it is what it is. 170 teams, only 5 games. These are the advantages. I took down the Minimax on the first day of playoffs. Took down the Minimax, and it was with a Yankee stack, which is really low owned. Had them written up in the article as the 4th stack. So it only takes one team to get to the top. So that's all we need. Elliot says, I need a Reds win. I don't mind it, man. I wouldn't mind watching these teams play one more game. I personally am going to have a pretty good amount of Castillo. He's probably going to be my third or 4th highest exposed pitcher, most likely. So I'll be going for it. I'll be taking some shots. I'll be giving it a shot. Shout out to Patches, my dog, who's barking at probably nothing. Being a little shit, because that's what he's here for, right? Be a little shit and show some love. Elliot says he's stressing. I would be too, man. Listen, the pitching, you guys have some pitching. It's just the Braves offense is really good, so I get it. And one of my concerns with the Braves against Castillo and why I'll have exposure to the Braves offense, aside from the fact that they're just fucking good, is the ground ball rate I'm a little worried about. And you can see Luis Castillo trending in the wrong direction over the last 5 days hard contact-wise. 30.9 on the season, 35.9 over the last month. Ground ball rate, 58.4 is awesome. That's like elite. However, the Braves are one of the biggest fly ball hitting teams out there. So, again, some concerns. But overall, I still lean towards Castillo. I like the pitching in general. Now, listen, a lot of times during the regular season, I do a lot of 5-3 stacks on DraftKings, meaning 5 players from one team, 3 from another. And that's worked really well. I had an awesome baseball year this year. But in the playoffs, I like to do 5. I still do a 5-man stack, but I like to have one-offs. So I do 5, 1, 1, 1. And that's to make sure I get some exposure to certain spots that I normally wouldn't. There could be a game that was really low scoring, but one player double donged, and I want to give myself an opportunity to get exposure to those players. And that's that. Appreciate those of you hanging out with us today. I don't see any other questions in the chat, so that's pretty much going to do it. Make sure you take advantage of the giveaway we're doing on Twitter at @wise_take. It's pinned at the top. All you got to do is like the tweet, retweet the tweet, follow us on Twitter at @wise_take, and your name gets put into the pinwheel. We do the drawing on Saturday. It's a real fun thing. But again, guys, please hit the like button. It really helps us out. Appreciate Tony A out there asking for more likes. I appreciate it. Elliot says he's playing on FanDuel today. I absolutely. FanDuel, sometimes the decisions over there, because you only have to make one pitcher, it's interesting because on DraftKings, the ownership on pitchers are always increased because you get 2 of them. On FanDuel, you got to pick one. And so I guess that naturally is going to spread people out. It's kind of like when you do quarterback in football. Sometimes you're more spread out because there's just so many options. You only get one of them. Whereas you may have higher concentrated ownerships at wide receiver or running back because, you get 2, 3 with a flex. You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense. Will Cook says Atlanta W. Good content, man. So we got some beef in these streets. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to Will. Appreciate you. We got Elliot rooting for the Reds. Cook rooting for Atlanta. And that's that. But anyway, Nation, I'm going to get up out of here. Appreciate all you guys. The likes did come up a little bit. Much appreciated as always. We got the NFL game tonight. Paulie and I did a little showdown breakdown. We put our projections up on the show so you could see kind of what we're looking at doing tonight, or at least what we have projected as the top plays tonight. So, listen, it's not going to be great, right? It's not going to be great. We got the Jets and Broncos. But I'll be watching. I'll be playing. And can't be any worse than the debate, can it? Can it? Cody Mayfield, what's happening, Cody? Favorite stack today? Ooh, that's a good one right there. Let me peek into my article. Well, I think my favorite stack is probably actually the Cardinals against Davies. Now, I'm a little biased. I'm just not a Davies believer. He's got a 249 BABIP. I think he's been getting a little lucky. I do like that game for bats in general. I like all the West Coast games. Well, in reality, depending on the pitching we get, the White Sox and Oakland. Now, again, I hate to I didn't mention them. I keep forgetting them because we haven't had official confirmation on Dooning and Fires. If it is Dooning and Fires, I like the bats on both sides in that game. But it's all West Coast for me. I'll rank them for you straight up. Basically, give them an article on the free. But I like the Padres and St. Louis bats both. I like Oakland, White Sox both. And I like the Dodgers at low ownership. I'm hoping at low ownership against Woodruff. I'll let your boy. Much appreciated. I'm going to get out of here. We will catch you guys Friday or tomorrow night for the NFL Wise stream. Myself, Paulie D, with our final thoughts going into the weekend for NFL before our articles come out and all that good shit. So good luck, Nation. We appreciate you, as always. Man of the people, man of the nation. For myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yes.